Today at 3, Hunter Biden charged with federal tax and weapons offenses, but will he serve jail time? What the DOJ is recommending. Plus, a closer look at gun safety after a 5-year-old was accidentally shot and killed by another child in McKee last night. And more affordable housing in Lexington will take you to a ribbon-cutting ceremony today for the Alcove at Russell.
I'm Chief Meteorologist T.J. Shuck. Of course, mainly cloudy and muggy with that area of low pressure now to our south. A few peaks of sunshine, but also a few scattered showers and thunderstorms on this final day of spring. Looks like more of the same as we see the summer solstice happen tomorrow. I'll tell you about it in your Storm Team forecast coming up.
You're watching Good Afternoon Kentucky with Erica Bivens and T.G. Shuck. ABC 36 on your side.
Good afternoon, Kentucky. I'm Erica Bivens. Thanks for joining us. President Biden's son Hunter will plead guilty to 2 tax misdemeanors and reached a deal with federal prosecutors on a felony gun possession charge. It's our top story today at 3. According to a court filing from the Department of Justice, the DOJ is expected to recommend probation for the tax misdemeanors. Now, the gun charge will likely be diverted, meaning it'll be dismissed if Hunter Biden abides by certain conditions for a period of time. Final sentencing, of course, will be up to the judge. The White House saying in a statement the Bidens love their son and support him. According to Hunter Biden's attorney, the deal with prosecutors will resolve the long-running federal criminal probe into the president's son. The attorney also saying Hunter Biden thinks it's, quote, important to take responsibility for these mistakes he made during a period of turmoil and addiction. Meantime, Kentucky State Representative James Comer taking to social media saying, quote, Hunter Biden is getting away with a slap on the wrist when growing evidence uncovered by the House Oversight Committee reveals the Bidens engaged in a pattern of corruption, influence peddling, and possibly bribery. Let's talk some weather with our Chief Meteorologist T.G. Shuck. Pretty fitting that today is the last day of spring and we've already got the muggy air out there. It's here.
Yeah, we had a little prelude of it yesterday, but you've really been able to feel it stepping out. And kind of like yesterday, it's been mainly cloudy, muggy, and of course through the afternoon we've had a few scattered showers and storms firing up. Now the low, which was over west central Kentucky yesterday, the center of it is now down over Tennessee. And you see through the afternoon here, we've seen a few pop-ups even here in the Lexington area, just running right out Harrodsburg Road, probably right around Beaumont Center, and then either side of Nicholasville, especially into western and southern Jessamine County. Also northeast of Harrodsburg, heavier shower right around Danville toward Lake Harrington, and then you see some additional activity down here across southern Kentucky. Every once in a while, a flash of lightning here or there. Obviously south of Lexington, more prone to see some additional rainfall as we're on the north side of that low, which is sitting and spinning over the east central part of Tennessee. It actually will drift a little farther south. You see, it looks a little ominous looking to the south, of course, with some of that stuff popping up southwestern part of Fayette County. Our Bluegrass Pace Care Skyview HD Camera Network, Hicks and Funton Cam. We've overachieved with afternoon highs here in Lexington. We're at 81, and that's going to be the drill the next couple of days. If you stay cloudy and you're in the rain, you're mainly looking at mid, maybe upper 70s, but we've been essentially dry here in central Kentucky. So 81 Lexington, Frankfort, 80 in Monticello, but the rest of the area in the 70s. And we talked about the muggies, upper 60, low 70 dew points. That's what we have during the heart of summer when you really have that muggy feel. Just like this morning when we didn't even get below 70 here in Lexington. Not going to move very much. I think we'll wind things down during the overnight and then we'll do it all again as we say hello to the summer season tomorrow. We should break out of this a bit heading into the weekend. More on that in your 7-day coming up.
A 5-year-old accidentally shot and killed by another child last night in McKee is just another reminder about the importance of gun safety. Kentucky State Police say it happened at a home in Jackson County after a 7-year-old shot the 5-year-old. ABC 36's Anna Medina joins us with tips from an armory service in Lexington. Anna?
Impact Armory Service here in Lexington mainly specializes in firearm repair service and is not in any way a retail store. Stephen Young is the owner and says his shop is basically like a mechanic but for firearms. Young says Kentucky is very passionate when it comes to firearms adding that you can pretty much find anything in the bluegrass. He says it's important for those who own guns to make sure they know how it functions, and that starts by educating yourself with a manual or classes. He also says there are various locks to keep your firearms stored away safely.
I believe there's a responsibility that if you do own firearms, you do need to make sure you know where they are, and that they are secured when you're not using them. In this day, in this climate where we are carrying firearms more and more, yes, if you're carrying a firearm, carry it. If you're not carrying it, secure it somewhere. It is unfortunate when children get into them, but it is also, I think, the responsibility of whoever owns the firearm to make sure it's kept secure.
Young also adds that your firearm should never be stored under a bed, a mattress, or an unlocked bedroom door. Now, coming up tonight at 5, Young will demonstrate how to properly put on a lock depending on your firearm. For now, Anna Medina, ABC 36 on your side.
Well, Kentucky State Police is investigating an officer-involved shooting in Boyd County. Troopers say that shooting happened Sunday night just before 8:30 in Ashland. No other information has been released by KSP at this time. An investigation into the incident continues. ABC 36 has reached out for specifics. We'll, of course, keep you updated on any new developments. 24 people arrested in a drug roundup in Laurel County following an ongoing investigation. The Laurel County Sheriff's Office and London Police say the drug investigations resulted in charges ranging from trafficking meth and possession of meth to trafficking heroin, trafficking opioids, and drug indictment warrants, along with probation violation, persistent felony offender, a federal indictment warrant, and complaint warrants. Those arrested range in age from 26 to 66 and were booked in the Laurel County Detention Center. The Laurel County Drug Interdiction Task Force continues to investigate and says more arrests are expected. Lexington has a new affordable housing option. City leaders gathering at the Alcove at Russell this morning for an official ribbon cutting ceremony. ABC 36's Jane Davenport was there and has more.
I am outside of the Alcove at Russell, where a 202-unit affordable housing development has just become available. This development represents a $46 million investment to the area. It is located in Lexington's Winburn neighborhood. Mayor Gordon says she is glad to see the new development, as affordable housing is a pressing need in our city. As of right now, the Alcove is more than 26% occupied. Reporting live, I'm Jane Davenport, ABC 36, on your side.
Now, the first resident moved in March of this year. Working families who earn up to 60% of the area median income or up to $53,580 annually for a family of 4 qualify. You can find more information by clicking on this web story at WTVQ.com. Well, still ahead, we'll tell you about a program designed to help those recovering from addiction in a creative outlet. Plus, an update on a desperate search and rescue operation underway to find a sub that went missing on a trip to see the wreckage of the Titanic. Now to the latest on the desperate search for a missing submersible carrying wealthy tourists and crew to view the wreckage of the Titanic. The sub losing contact with its anchor ship about 900 miles off the coast of Cape Cod with 5 people on board. Rena Roy has the latest in our nation.
The desperate search continues for 5 people who were headed to get an up-close look at the Titanic shipwreck in a submersible like this one. It's now a race against the clock to find them alive. Among the missing, businessman Shahzada Daoud and his son Suleiman, renowned Titanic researcher Paul-Henri Najoulet, and Hamish Harding, a British billionaire. All paid $250,000 each for the deep-sea excursion. The submersible disappeared Sunday on what was supposed to be an 8 to 10 hour round-trip journey to the bottom of the Atlantic Ocean, 13,000 feet below the surface. But the sub went off the radar an hour and 45 minutes into the expedition.
There could have been an accident. It could have become entangled in the wreckage of Titanic. It could indeed have had a catastrophic failure. The answer is we don't know just yet.
Coast Guard crews from the U.S. and Canada searching an area 900 miles off the coast of Cape Cod.
It is a challenge to conduct a search in that remote area, but we are deploying all available assets to make sure that we can locate the craft and rescue the people on board.
The Titanic tourists started their expedition from Newfoundland, Canada, Friday on a ship carrying the 21-foot submersible vessel operated by OceanGate Expeditions, which offers trips to the wreckage of the Titanic.
We are taking scans of the wreck.
OceanGate says the submersible was equipped with up to 96 hours of oxygen. More than 48 hours have already passed. The company telling ABC News, our entire focus is on the well-being of the crew, and every step possible is being taken to bring the 5 crew members back safely.
The sub is expected to rise to the surface if there are any technical issues. If it's miles underwater, experts say it will be an almost impossible feat to rescue them. Rena Roy, ABC News, New York.
We'll continue to follow that search for you. Well, coming up at 3:30, June marks PTSD Awareness Month. We'll tell you how a Kentucky nonprofit is working to stop soldier suicides. But after the break, we're talking about Peace Through Pottery, a program hosted by Recovery Cafe Lexington. We'll hear how that program is helping those recovering from addiction right after this. Good afternoon, Kentucky. I'm Erica Bivens. Thanks for joining us. June is Veteran Suicide and PTSD Awareness Month, a time to talk about post-traumatic stress disorders and remind veterans they're not alone. One Kentucky nonprofit is working to play a crucial role in stopping soldier suicide. ABC 36's Justin Walker joins us with more on the story this half hour.
Jeremy Harrell founded Veterans Club Incorporated in 2017. Harrell is a U.S. Army combat veteran who served in Operation Iraqi Freedom and was deployed in 2003 and 2004. Now he understands veteran PTSD, having suffered himself for years. Now he's working to provide support to other veterans going through that same experience. According to the U.S. Department of Veterans Affairs, 12 million people in the U.S. live with PTSD. The VA also says PTSD is slightly more common among veterans than civilians. Symptoms vary person to person, but signs include reliving the event, having negative thoughts and feelings, and experiencing nightmares, flashbacks, guilt, and numbness. Harrell says there are several resources available for veterans experiencing suicidal thoughts, including the 988 Suicide and Crisis Lifeline, programs with the Department of Veterans Affairs, and psychotherapies. He says Veteran Suicide and PTSD Awareness Month highlights the need for veterans to get the help they need to live full and happy lives.
You can't erase memories, right? And that's essentially what it is. But you absolutely can have those memories to a point where it doesn't negatively impact you emotionally or cause you to re-experience or cause you to go down a dark rabbit hole that you don't want to go down. And that's the goal, right?
Now coming up at 5:30, we'll have an update from New Vista here in Lexington, who monitors mental health and suicide calls through the 988 Suicide and Crisis Lifeline, including veteran calls. For now, Justin Walker, ABC 36 on your side.
All right, thank you, Justin. Meantime, we are exactly 2 weeks away from the July 4th holiday, which means loud music, large crowds, and fireworks. Well, the Veterans Club says it's important to be aware that those sounds can negatively affect veterans. The nonprofit says fireworks can sound like a gunshot, which can trigger memories of war zones and gunfire. Those memories can be a side effect of PTSD. Harrell says while it's important to be considerate of those who have served, he also encourages veterans themselves to get out and celebrate.
Go out and celebrate something that you've given so much for, right? That's your day. Like, that's your day to look around at all these beautiful Americans who are just having so much fun, especially the little kids that are playing and they're getting to see the fireworks and they're so excited about these sparklers and things like that. Like, you did that, right? You had a hand in preserving the right to go out and see them do that.
Well, Harrell says noise-canceling headphones can help minimize some of those loud sounds. He also says veterans who choose not to go out can surround themselves with others who have gone through something similar to help them get through the holiday. Another check of that forecast with TG. 2 weeks out from 4th of July. Also tomorrow officially marks the start of summer, if people can believe it, and the muggies are already here.
Yeah, they really ramped up yesterday. Even Sunday, you could start to feel it creeping in. That's going to be the case, of course, with that area of low pressure cut off from the upper level flow. Now, it has drifted over east central Tennessee, so essentially along and south of I-64 on the northern edge of the circulation, everything coming from east to west as opposed to the other way. Here in Lexington, a few little spotty showers here and there, one over the southern part of Paris. Got a decent cluster here running from not far from Nonsuch here in southern Woodford County over to Salvisa, right along the Washington-Mercer County line, and then out toward Perryville and down into southern Boyle County. And you see scattered across southern Kentucky some solid rain from Somerset down to Whitley City with, again, a few scattered thunderstorms firing, everything rotating back to the west and southwest with the center of circulation just to the west of Knoxville there. Our Bluegrass Pace Care Skyview HD Camera Network. Now, we've had a few breaks in the clouds here and there. Here's a look at downtown Mount Sterling in Montgomery County. 77. So got that east wind at around 10 to 15. We've overachieved a little bit here in Lexington, even though it's been mainly overcast. We have had a few peaks of sun, and those areas that have received very little rain. And I think that's going to be the trick the next couple of days, even with some cloudiness around. And you see here, upper 60s to low 70 dew points, so it is awfully muggy. We'll continue to see a few scattered storms, especially through the early and mid-evening. An isolated one or two overnight. I think the coverage will be much less. Won't move a whole lot. It'll be mild. It'll be muggy. And we'll do it all again as we welcome summer tomorrow. More on that in your 7A coming up.
A death investigation is underway in Knox County after human remains were found in a wooded area last night. The Knox County Sheriff's Department says the body was found around 6:30 in a wooded area near Hall Circle in Gray. Deputies say the search started after a backpack was found by a fireman. Now, several other emergency crews assisted in looking for the body. The Sheriff's Department says they believe the body is of a man who went missing back on May 24th. That body has been sent to the medical examiner's office for a positive identification and to help determine the cause of death. There's a new inpatient behavioral health unit at Kentucky Children's Hospital. The 17-bed inpatient space is designed to meet the unique needs of children and adolescents who would benefit from more intensive mental and behavioral health interventions. Hospital leaders say the new space features 8 semi-private rooms and 1 private room specifically designed for the care of patients ages 5 to 17.
But a big part of therapy is also seeing other kids who are going through what you may be going through and seeing kids who may be farther along in their recovery and being able to kind of help yourself also by making those connections and feeling less isolated.
The behavioral health unit was previously housed at Good Samaritan Hospital. A Mormon cricket crisis is expanding in the western U.S. The insect surge began in Idaho just a few weeks ago. Well, the bugs are now heading south and causing a real mess as they make their move. Andrew Dimbert has the details.
Millions of flightless insects known as Mormon crickets have now descended on swaths of Nevada, taking over homes in the city of Elko, Nevada, blanketing roads, even the local hospital. Some homeowners are using vacuums and power washers to clear out the crickets. Killing the 2-inch-long plump crickets can lead to a smell described as burning flesh. The sheer quantity of insects on the streets now forcing the Nevada Department of Transportation to use plows and warn of slick roads due to the squashed bugs.
It's almost like an oil slick. I actually, at this intersection, was coming home, and as I came around the corner, I came around a little too fast, and I about ended up in the ditch full of water. It was pretty intense.
Outbreaks of Mormon crickets have been recorded throughout history across the West in Nevada, Idaho, Utah, Montana, and Oregon, causing widespread damage to crops and other vegetation. Experts say the crickets have a 4 to 6 year cycle and then go dormant. For people in Elko, relief can't come soon enough.
They just eat because they eat everything. Anything in their path, they'll eat, including each other.
Andrew Dimbert, ABC News, New York.
Nope. Experts say the crickets could plague that region for years until they're brought back under control by predators. Well, meantime, back here at home, Woodford Humane Society is getting ready for its biggest fundraiser of the year. Tickets for the upcoming summer gala are officially on sale. The shelter says you're invited to join in on an evening of great food and drinks, exciting auctions, huge raffle prizes, and most importantly, help Woodford Humane Society continue its important work. And new this year, the summer gala blind bourbon pull. Some lucky guests will go home with top shelf and hard to find bourbon. You can get your tickets right now online at woodfordhumane.org, then click on the summer Summer Gala link. You can also check out the menu and much more online. The event is set for Saturday, July 22nd at the Keeneland Entertainment Center and Keene Barn. Up next, we'll tell you why the price of orange juice is going up. Plus, remember that fish story we told you about yesterday? The crew that did not get the prize money despite reeling in the largest blue marlin in the tournament. We've got an update on the action the crew's now taking. All right, checking back in with TG. You know, I guess we should be thankful that we don't live in Nevada or Idaho where they're dealing with the cricket
That was
infestation.
your favorite story of the year so far, I know.
We're going to have nightmares about that for a while.
Well, you got 3 minutes to cool down here. Well, that's one thing we're not, is we've got the muggy air out there that we've talked about, all due to that cutoff low, which is hanging tough to our south, and it will over the next day or so. Our daily rain and storm chances continue. Now, obviously, there will be a number of locations that may see very little in the way of rainfall. Everyone, I think, over the next 3 or 4 days will at least get something, a little more. It is looking warmer and drier, I think, especially the second half of the upcoming weekend. Max AC radar here really starting to light up. Lexington southward, that's on the northern edge of the low down to the south. We got one lone cell just kind of off of downtown. Looks like running out Tates Creek Road there, not far from the station, actually, trying to creep over toward Winchester Road. Also around South Visa in northern Mercer County, Perryville in Boyle County, and then Eubank there in parts of northwestern Pulaski County over into southern Lincoln County. Again, these things are scattered around the area. London, Corbin, both seeing a heavier shower. Occasionally you'll hear a rumble of thunder or two. Now that we've gotten a few breaks in the clouds earlier, and that's really ramping things up, you can see the circulation, which is now centered over East Tennessee. It looks a little ominous, but a few breaks in the clouds with our Blue Guys Pace Care Skyview HD camera network down in Richmond, 79. So those areas that have received very little rain and have had a few breaks in the clouds, we've overachieved into the upper 70s and low 80s. We expected upper 70s with some of the rain cooled air. We got low to mid 70s down south. Dew points, great measure of the amount of moisture in the atmosphere. We've talked about it all summer long. This is really the first time here ending spring and now kicking off summer. We've had these low 70 dew points. That's when it really feels muggy out there. And there's the low, which will continue to drift to the south, but we're not going to be rid of it for a few more days. First things first, what we've got out there right now, I think as we get deeper in the evening, things will quiet down a bit. Can't rule out an isolated shower or two. Temperatures, again, shouldn't move very much. I don't think we made it below 70 here in Lexington this morning. And then tomorrow, the coverage may be a little bit less. What's going to happen is the low is actually going to begin to jog to the north as high pressure moves out of the way. It's going to squeeze it and force it back to the north. So I do think we may pick the pace up just a bit Thursday into Friday. Now, the model's not necessarily agreeing with the amount of moisture. The GFS a little bit more aggressive than the European model here. But this is the GFS. In fact, it is the wetter of the two. Although on Saturday, basically east of I-75, that'll be the favorite area. And I think this may even be a little bit overdone on Sunday. So at this point, I think Sunday is going to be mainly dry and warm. And then we've got another cold front coming in here. Won't see a big change in temperature behind it, but I think additional rain and storms possible rolling into Monday. We mentioned the summer solstice. That is tomorrow, Wednesday at 10:58 a.m., and it will be the longest day, meaning the most daylight that we see. With sunrise tomorrow at 6:16, sunset at 9:04. That is a big whopping 14 hours and 48 minutes of daylight. Hey, we'll take it, especially, again, when we're going to start to head the other way, slowly but surely, with the daylight getting a little shorter through the rest of the summer and into fall. Upper 60s tomorrow morning, mid to upper 70s tomorrow afternoon. Still breezy in the extended forecast here. Again, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, similar to today. These things will be scattered about. It is not going to be a washout in any particular area. And then we'll lessen the chances. We go mainly dry on Sunday with upper 80s. And then that frontal boundary moves through. And not bad this time next week with afternoon highs right around 80.
In consumer news, the price of orange juice will be going up again after Florida farmers produced the smallest citrus crop in nearly a century. It was a tough year for the state's orange trees, which were hit by bad weather and by an epidemic of disease. And since Florida produces the majority of domestic juice oranges, customers will be hit right in the wallet. And those who are able to find and afford a gallon of juice, which retails for more than $10 right now, might notice it doesn't taste as sweet. That's because nearly all of Florida's groves were hit by the greening disease, which causes the fruit to be bitter. And according to analysts, the U.S. will not be able to lean on Brazil for more oranges. That country's production was also affected by bad weather. International Swifties feeling left out? Well, shake it off, because Taylor Swift has just announced global tour dates. Pop sensation Taylor Swift has a big reputation these days as she wraps up her national tour showcasing her multiple albums. She previously announced dates for shows in Latin America. Today, Swift announced she's taking her Eras tour abroad with stops in Asia, Europe, and Australia. Shows start in February of 2024. Up next, the lucky man in Kentucky who won $50,000 on a scratch-off ticket. Plus, an update from the fishing crew that was disqualified after some fishy rules. Well, another lottery story.
Yeah, exactly.
And not us that won.
These scratch-offs, eventually, law of averages, all these that are hitting around
Seriously.
here, right?
Well, the latest one, a Nicholasville man says he was stunned after a Kentucky Lottery scratch-off ticket he purchased revealed he won $50,000.
Yeah, there you have it. The Kentucky Lottery says after getting off work, Dale George stopped at the Kroger there on East Brandon Road in Nicholasville to cash in a winning ticket. While in the store, George bought 2 of the $30 Mega Multiplier scratch-off tickets from the lottery vending machine.
So he said he thought it was kind of weird. It had 2 of those Mega Multipliers in one machine, so he bought one of each. Well, when he got home, he scratched off the tickets and couldn't believe his eyes. Even called over his daughter, and she started crying. Well, together, they realized they won the game's $50,000 prize.
There you go. George told lottery officials his grandson is out of school for summer break, and he'll put the winnings toward a vacation.
Aww.
Kroger will receive $500 for selling the winning ticket.
Congrats, George.
Yeah, I was going to say, Miss Scratch-Off over here. A little bitter.
Maybe one day.
Yeah, just kidding. All right, with just 2 weeks until the 4th of July, fireworks stands, they're doing something, I think.
Yeah, they're getting ready for the return to normal after several years of supply chain issues. Well, that includes a family-run business in Nicholasville. Robert Workman runs Wildcat Fireworks, along with his family, just outside of Wildcat Mattress, which they also own. He says they started a fireworks tent several years ago just as a way to make some extra money, but since then, things have really taken off. And right now, he says they're already seeing a rush.
The weekends are better, nights are better. During the day, it's a little slow, but once it gets dark, it kind of picks up and everybody comes out and gets a bunch of fireworks.
It's always exciting out there.
Yeah, Wildcat Fireworks is located at 2040 Lexington Road, Nicholasville, just outside, as mentioned, Wildcat Mattress. And remember to follow local fireworks laws in your respective county.
A lot of people, TG, have also been talking about sort of, you know, I know we had the dry conditions. Yep. We've seen some rain, but is there a concern about fires at this point?
Well, I mean, we are going to get some additional rain, hopefully leading up to that over the next few days, and then we'll see what next week brings as well. The drought monitor comes out on Thursday. They actually take the measurement today. It's 2 days before. And so you think, you know, we had an inch of rain here in Lexington, but, you know, the viewing area is so big. Right. It's always better safe than sorry. Because it can be a little bit tricky, even with a decent amount of rainfall. You can think, oh, well, we're fine, we're in good shape now.
Always keep the water handy.
Yeah,
you know the rules.
I think that's obviously a better safe than sorry deal.
All right, well, let's get to an update on that fish story that we brought you here yesterday. So that fishing crew that lost out on millions of dollars in prize money after catching the 619-pound blue marlin has now retained an attorney.
Shocking.
I know. As we've reported, the team was competing in the Big Rock Blue Marlin Tournament in North Carolina Saturday. They spent 6 hours bringing in the massive fish, thinking they won the big prize, which would have been $3.5 million. But unfortunately, those judges and biologists disqualified the catch because there was evidence it had been bitten by a shark before it was caught.
Yeah, the rule book says any mutilation of the fish prior to landing or boating the catch caused by sharks, other fish, mammals, propellers, and that means a disqualification. Before we even knew that, I said that's probably what it is.
You were right. Yep.
There you go.
It is.
Well, the fish story continues, and plenty of water at least flying around in the air with showers and storms, but we dry it out and warm it up by the weekend.
As long as we don't have crickets. See you, bye.